Elections in Nicaragua are underway. We welcome Stephen Sefton, journalist. Welcome to teleSUR. According to what you've seen since morning hours, how have the Nicaraguans lived this election day?
Well, it's been a very smooth, orderly, efficient, and calm process. And there's been a steady flow of voters. I'm up here in the northwest of Nicaragua, in the town of Chinandega, which is the departmental capital of the department of that name, Chinandega. And we visited. I'm here with a group of reporters and people accompanying the election, invited by the Nicaraguan government, and accompanied by the electoral authority. And we've been to 4 voting stations that probably cover a total of maybe 7,000 voters all told. And there was a steady flow of voters, very, in a couple of the voting centers, it was like a very family affair. Parents would come bringing their children so that they didn't have to leave them at home when they went to vote. And it was very, very orderly and efficient. And we asked the electoral officials at the different voting centers various questions about how the actual voting process went, how many parties were participating, whether there was a fair choice for voters between the governing Frente Sandinista party and the 5 opposition parties that are being presenting candidates in these elections, and they were very patient and careful explaining to us the electoral process, and we really felt that we were taking part in a process that genuinely reflected a true and fair view of the popular sentiment, the voters' sentiment in Nicaragua.
Speaking on the popular sentiment you've mentioned, by attending the polling centers in order to exercise the democratic right to vote, what message are the Nicaraguan people given to the extreme right that betting chaos in the 2018 riots and destabilization acts?
No, and that's completely untrue. And there have been reports, for example, in the New York Times, that even at around 10:30 or 11 o'clock, there were closures of voting centers, which is just a downright lie. And what one has to expect from the opposition here, I think there have been 2 or 3 minor provocations, but nothing that has developed into violence. And what we can expect from the opposition are attempts to disrupt the elections, and more importantly, the perception of the elections overseas. Because the electoral process here is very, very solid and secure. And so all the opposition can do is try and discredit it by broadcasting false information, especially in the social media, from which, as you know, over the last few days, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram cancelled thousands of accounts of Sandinista supporters, falsely claiming that those accounts belonged to trolls and bots, which was entirely untrue. And so what they did by doing that was create a clear field for the opposition supporters here in Nicaragua to use social media to try and discredit the elections and discourage people from going to vote, but they failed. There's a very strong turnout. It's likely to be probably over 60%. There's always a good turnout in the national elections in Nicaragua, typically well over 60%. And that's what we've seen today. And so anything that you hear from the opposition claiming that things have gone badly, that there's been some kind of chaos or confusion in the voting process are completely untrue. It's the reverse is the truth. This electoral process has been extraordinarily efficient, extremely orderly, and very, very calm.
Stephen, thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.